I want to read from the book of Revelation, chapter 1. We all know this book was written by John. And if you know who John was Jesus' most beloved disciple. He's the person who would lie on Jesus' chest. He's the person that any disciple, if you wanted to say something, they would ask John to go and ask him something. So that shows a close relationship between John and Jesus. But in the book of Revelation, the way John describes Jesus is way different. The relationship changes. You know why? Because Jesus goes back to his glory. And friends, the God we serve, the God we worship tonight is this kind of God. And I believe one day, someday, we're going to stand before that God. The same way John stood before him and he could not even look straight into his face. Mind you, this was like his best friend. But because of the glory that Jesus had, he could not look straight into his eyes. Our heads cannot wrap we don't have enough words to think about this. Friends, the Jesus we worship is real. John says, Revelation chapter 1 verse 7 says, "Look, he's coming with the clouds, and every eye will see him, even those who pierced him, and all people on earth will mourn because of him. So shall it be, amen." Jesus says, this is my saying. Jesus says, verse 8, "I am the Alpha and Omega, says the Lord, who is and who was and who is to come, the Almighty." John says, I'm going to jump to 12. He says, "I turned around to see the voice that was speaking to me. And when I turned, I saw 7 gold lampstands. And among the lampstands was someone like a son of man, dressed in a robe reaching down to his feet, and with a golden sash around his chest. The hair on his head was white like wool, as white as snow, and his eyes were like a blazing fire. His feet were like bronze glowing in a furnace, and his voice was like a sound of rushing waters. In his right hand he held 7 stars, and coming out of his mouth was a sharp double-edged sword. His face was like the sun shining all its brilliance. I saw him. I fell at his feet as though dead. Listen. Then he placed his right hand on me and said, 'Do not be afraid. I am the first and the last. I am the living one. I was dead, and now, look, I am alive forever and ever. And I hold the keys of death and Hades.'" Friends, that is the Jesus we worship tonight. And as we sing this last song, I want us to picture us before him, singing to him. Amen. Feel free to fall face down. Feel free to lie down. Feel free to kneel. Feel free to raise your hand and sing out to Jesus. Come on, let's join together and sing this song.
Behold the Father's heart, the mystery he lavishes on us, as deep cries out to deep, oh, how desperately he wants. Things of earth stand next to him like a candle to the sun. Unfailing Father, what compares to his great love? Holy Son, the Lion and the Lamb given to us. The Word became a man, that my soul should know a Savior. Forsaken for the sake